The morning started like any other on Mars Colony 7. Children ran through the dusty red streets, their laughter echoing off the metal buildings. Parents hurried to work in the mining facilities while teachers prepared for another day of classes. Nobody expected that by sunset their world would change forever. Jake Morrison stood at the window of his office, watching the sunrise paint the Martian sky in shades of orange and pink. As commander of the Earth Defense Force station on Mars, he had seen many beautiful sunrises, but today felt different. Something in the air made him uneasy, though he could not explain why. His communication device buzzed. A worried voice came through the speaker. "Commander Morrison, we have a problem. 3 children from Sector 5 are missing. They were playing in the park yesterday evening, but they never came home." Jake frowned. Missing children were rare. On Mars, the colony was small and everyone knew everyone else. "Send me the details," he said. "I want to know everything about these children and where they were last seen." Within an hour, Jake had the files on his desk. Emma Clark, age 8. Bobby Johnson, age 7. Lucy Davis, age 9. All 3 had been playing in the Central Park when their parents last saw them. The security cameras showed them running toward the playground, but after that, nothing. It was as if they had simply vanished into thin air. Jake called the colony's security chief, Captain Ryan Martinez. "Ryan, I need you to search every building in Sector 5. Check the storage areas, the maintenance tunnels, everywhere. These children have to be somewhere," Ryan nodded. "Already on it, sir. But Jake, there's something strange about this. The energy readings from the park are off the charts. Our sensors picked up some kind of unknown signal right around the time the children disappeared. On the other side of the solar system, Dr. Amy Brooks was having similar problems. At the Lunar Research Station, she studied the energy patterns that had been detected across several human colonies. As a scientist who specialized in alien technology, she knew these readings were unlike anything humans had ever created. "This is impossible," she whispered to herself as she stared at the data on her computer screen. "The energy signature is completely unknown. It's not fusion, not nuclear, not anything we understand." Her assistant, Dr. Kevin Wright, looked over her shoulder. "Could it be a new type of engine? Maybe someone is testing secret technology." Amy shook her head. "No, Kevin, I've seen all the classified projects. This is something else, something not from Earth." Back on Mars, Jake received more bad news. Captain Martinez stood in his office, his face grim. "Commander, we have more missing children. 5 from Sector 2, 3 from Sector 8, and 2 from Sector 1, all disappeared within the last 12 hours. Jake felt his stomach drop. "That's 13 children total. This can't be a coincidence. There's more," Ryan continued. "We found traces of that same unknown energy at every location. Whatever is taking these children, it's using technology we've never seen before." Jake grabbed his communication device and contacted Admiral Lisa Grant at Earth Command. "Admiral, we have a serious situation on Mars. 13 children have vanished, and we're detecting unknown energy signatures at every site." Lisa's voice came through clearly despite the distance. "Jake, you're not the only one calling. We're getting reports from 6 different colonies. Children are disappearing everywhere, and nobody knows why." The truth was worse than any of them imagined. High above Mars, invisible to human sensors, a massive alien ship hovered in space. Inside the ship, Commander Zek of the Valdris Empire studied the human settlements below. To him, humans were nothing more than primitive creatures, useful only for their genetic material. "The collection is proceeding as planned," Zek reported to his superior. "The human younglings are being transported to the research facilities. Their primitive technology cannot detect our presence." The Valdris had been watching humanity for decades. They had studied human reproduction, social structures, and military capabilities. In their view, humans were perfect subjects for their experiments. Human children were especially valuable because their young minds could be easily shaped and controlled. Zek's ship was just one of many. Across the solar system, 17 Valdris vessels carried out the same mission. They used advanced teleportation technology to snatch children from their homes and playgrounds. The process was quick and silent, leaving no trace except for the energy signatures that human scientists could not understand. On Earth, news of the missing children spread quickly. Parents across the planet held their children closer, afraid that they might be next. The media reported on the mysterious disappearances, but nobody had answers. Jake worked around the clock, trying to find some clue about what had happened to the children. His team searched every inch of Mars Colony 7, but found nothing. The children had simply vanished, as if they had never existed. Dr. Brooks continued her analysis of the energy readings. She compared them to every known technology, but found no matches. The patterns were too complex, too advanced. "This has to be alien technology," she told her team. "There's no other explanation." Captain Martinez led a patrol ship to investigate an energy spike detected near Jupiter's moons. His ship, the Defender, was equipped with the most advanced sensors available to humanity. As they approached the source of the signal, Martinez felt a chill run down his spine. "Captain, we're detecting a massive object ahead," his sensor operator reported. "It's big, sir. Bigger than anything we've ever built." Martinez ordered his crew to maintain distance and observe. Through the ship's cameras, they could see a vessel unlike anything in human design. It was sleek and organic-looking with surfaces that seemed to shift and change. Strange lights pulsed along its hull. "Record everything," Martinez ordered. "Earth Command needs to see this." Before his crew could react, the alien ship turned toward them. A beam of energy struck the Defender, disabling its engines and weapons. Martinez watched helplessly as smaller craft emerged from the alien vessel surrounding his ship. "All hands, prepare for boarding," Martinez announced. But the aliens had no interest in capturing the humans. They simply wanted to study their technology and leave. Within minutes, the alien ships vanished, leaving the Defender floating helplessly in space. The data from Martinez's encounter finally gave Earth the proof they needed. The missing children had been taken by an alien civilization with technology far beyond human capabilities. The energy signatures matched perfectly with the readings from the abduction sites. Jake stood in his command center, staring at the images from the Defender's cameras. The alien ship was massive, clearly built for war. Its weapons had easily disabled a human vessel without causing permanent damage. The message was clear. The aliens could have destroyed the Defender if they had wanted to. Dr. Brooks worked frantically to analyze the new data. The alien technology was incredibly advanced, but she began to notice patterns. The energy signatures followed mathematical principles that she could understand. If humans could decode these patterns, they might be able to track the alien ships. Admiral Grant called an emergency meeting with world leaders. The evidence was overwhelming. Earth faced a threat from an alien civilization that had already taken nearly 200 human children. The question was no longer whether aliens existed, but what humanity would do about it. As Jake looked out at the Martian landscape, he thought about the children who had been playing in the park just days ago. Emma, Bobby, Lucy, and all the others. They were out there somewhere, probably scared and alone, taken by creatures they could not understand. The taking had begun. Humanity's children were gone, stolen by an enemy they had never seen coming. But Jake Morrison and millions of others like him were not going to let this stand. The aliens had made a mistake when they chose to target human children. They had awakened something in humanity that would not rest until every child was brought home. The war for humanity's future was about to begin. 3 weeks had passed since the first children vanished from Mars Colony 7. Jake Morrison had not slept properly in days. Dark circles ringed his eyes as he stared at the wall of monitors in his command center. Each screen showed data from different human colonies, all telling the same terrible story. More children were missing. The number had grown to 193. Boys and girls between the ages of 6 and 12, taken from 17 different settlements across the solar system. The pattern was always the same. Children playing outside, then gone without a trace. Only the strange energy readings remained as proof that something had happened. Dr. Amy Brooks rubbed her tired eyes and looked at the data for the 1000th time. She had been working non-stop at the Lunar Research Station, trying to decode the alien signals. Her team had recorded dozens of transmissions, but the language was unlike anything humans had ever heard. "Dr. Brooks," her assistant Kevin called from across the laboratory. "I think we have something." Amy hurried over to Kevin's workstation. On his screen were waves of sound, broken down into mathematical patterns. "I've been running the alien transmissions through every translation program we have," Kevin explained. "Most of it is still gibberish, but I found some repeated words. Look at this," he pointed to a section of the wave pattern. "This sound appears in every transmission. It's always followed by numbers. I think it might be a word for human or subject or something like that." Amy felt her heart racing. "What about this pattern here?" She pointed to another section. Kevin's face grew pale. "That one appears when they talk about the children." "Based on the context, I think it means specimens or samples, Dr. Brooks. I don't think these aliens see our children as people. They see them as things to be studied." On Earth, Colonel Ben Parker read the intelligence reports with growing anger. As commander of Earth's Special Operations Division, he had seen many terrible things in his career. But nothing had prepared him for this. The reports from Dr. Brooks' team painted a picture of an alien civilization that viewed humans as nothing more than laboratory animals. "Sir," his aide, Lieutenant Carolstone, said as she entered his office, "we've received orders from Earth Command. They want us to mount a reconnaissance mission to gather more intelligence about the alien forces." Ben nodded grimly. "Get me our best stealth ship and a volunteer crew. We're going to find out exactly what we're dealing with." Meanwhile, on the other side of the planet, President Helen Davis sat in the emergency session of the United Nations Security Council. The room was filled with the leaders of every major nation on Earth. The atmosphere was tense as Dr. Brooks presented her findings via video link. "The evidence is clear," Dr. Brooks said, her voice steady despite her exhaustion. "The aliens have taken our children for experimentation. Based on their communications, they plan to use human genetic material to create a hybrid species. They want to combine human adaptability with their own biotechnology." The room erupted in angry voices. The president of Russia slammed his fist on the table. "This is an act of war. We must respond immediately." The Prime Minister of Britain raised her hand for silence. "Dr. Brooks, do we know how advanced their technology is compared to ours?" Dr. Brooks paused before answering. "Their ships are faster than anything we can build. Their weapons are more powerful. Their ability to remain undetected is far beyond our capabilities, but—" She hesitated. "But what?" President Davis asked. "Their surveillance of us appears to be outdated. The data we've intercepted suggests they've been watching us for decades, but their information about our current technology is incomplete. They seem to think we're still using primitive rockets and nuclear weapons." General Frank Williams, chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, leaned forward. "Are you saying they don't know about our newer technology?" "That's exactly what I'm saying," Dr. Brooks replied. "They have no idea we've developed faster-than-light communication, advanced space-based weapons, or our new generation of warships. They're treating us like we're still stuck in the early 21st century." Colonel Parker and his team launched their reconnaissance mission 2 days later. Their ship, the Ghost, was equipped with the most advanced stealth technology humans had ever created. It could hide from almost any sensor, making it invisible to enemy detection. The mission was dangerous. They planned to follow the alien energy signatures to their source, hoping to find where the children were being held. Parker had handpicked his team of 12 soldiers, all volunteers who understood they might not return. As the Ghost approached the edge of the solar system, they detected massive energy readings coming from one of Jupiter's smaller moons. The moon had been considered uninhabitable by humans, but the aliens had clearly found a use for it. "Colonel," his pilot Major Lisa Chun whispered, "we're picking up multiple alien vessels. They've built some kind of base on the moon's surface?" Parker looked through the ship's cameras at the alien installation. It was huge, covering several square kilometers. Strange buildings rose from the moon's surface, connected by tubes and walkways. Ships moved in and out of the facility like busy insects. "Are those prison cells?" asked Sergeant Tony Miller, pointing to a section of the base. Parker studied the structures. They were rectangular buildings with no windows, surrounded by energy barriers. "Record everything," he ordered. "We need to get this information back." To Earth, as they watched, a group of alien ships arrived at the base. Through their cameras, they could see small figures being moved from the ships to the prison buildings. Even from a distance, Parker could tell they were human children. "Those monsters," Miller whispered. "They're treating our kids like cargo." The Ghost remained hidden for 6 hours, recording everything they could see. The alien base was clearly a research facility with laboratories, holding cells, and what appeared to be medical equipment. Parker's team counted at least 50 buildings that could be holding human prisoners. Back on Earth, the reconnaissance data caused an uproar. President Davis called another emergency session, this time including military leaders from every nation. The images from Parker's mission were displayed on large screens around the room. "This is unacceptable," declared the president of China. "These creatures have built a prison camp in our own solar system. They are conducting experiments on our children while we sit here talking." Admiral Grant stood up to address the room. "Ladies and gentlemen, we have a decision to make. We can continue to gather intelligence, or we can act. Every day we wait, those children suffer." The French president asked, "Do we have the capability to mount a rescue mission?" Admiral Grant looked at the screen showing the alien base. "It won't be easy. Their defenses are strong, and we don't know how many ships they have, but yes, we can do it. The question is whether we're willing to risk everything to save our children." The vote was unanimous. Every nation committed their military resources to a joint operation. The largest space fleet in human history would be assembled for one purpose: bringing the children home. Dr. Brooks continued her work, but now with a new focus. If humanity was going to war with an alien empire, they needed every advantage they could get. She began developing weapons specifically designed to exploit weaknesses in alien technology, working with captured alien materials. She discovered that their advanced shields had a fatal flaw. They were designed to stop energy weapons and projectiles, but they were vulnerable to certain types of biological agents. Dr. Brooks began work on a weapon that could target alien physiology, while leaving humans unharmed. The ethical implications troubled her. Creating a biological weapon felt wrong, even against an enemy that had kidnapped human children. But when she thought about Emma, Bobby, Lucy, and all the other children suffering in alien laboratories, her resolve hardened. Jake Morrison received new orders from Earth Command. Mars Colony 7 would serve as a staging area for the coming military operation. Supply ships began arriving daily, bringing weapons, soldiers, and equipment for the rescue mission. As Jake watched the preparations, he thought about the children who had been taken from his colony. He had failed to protect them, but he would not fail to bring them home. The aliens had made a terrible mistake when they chose to target human children. They had awakened something in humanity that would not rest until every child was safe. The discovery phase was complete. Humanity knew what they faced and where their children were being held. The next phase would be much more dangerous, but there was no choice. Earth was going to war, and this time the aliens would learn what happened when someone threatened human families. The preparation for humanity's response had begun. The shipyards of Earth had never seen anything like it. Day and night, sparks flew from welding torches as workers raced to build the largest military fleet in human history. Admiral Lisa Grant stood on the observation deck of the Luna shipyard, watching hundreds of vessels take shape in the construction bays below. "Admiral," her aide Commander Paul Scott said as he approached, "the final ship count is in. We have 347 vessels ready for combat. Battleships, destroyers, carriers, and the new rescue ships designed specifically for this mission." Lisa nodded, her eyes fixed on the massive fleet. Ships from every nation on Earth floated in formation, their hulls painted with the new symbol of the Terran Liberation Fleet. The symbol was simple but powerful, a small human figure surrounded by a protective circle with the words "Bring them home" written below. "What about the weapon systems?" Lisa asked. General Williams reports that the hybrid technology project is ahead of schedule. We've successfully combined human engineering with captured alien technology. Our new weapons should be able to penetrate their shields. 3 months had passed since the discovery of the alien base. 3 months of non-stop preparation as humanity built the tools they would need to rescue their children. The project had consumed the resources of every major nation, but nobody complained. When it came to saving human children, money was no object. General Frank Williams supervised the weapons testing at the secret facility in Nevada. The desert air was filled with the sound of explosions as the new hybrid weapons were put through their trials. The weapons combined human projectile technology with alien energy systems, creating something that neither species had ever seen before. "Test number 47, Williams announced into his radio. "Target the alien shield generator." The weapon fired, sending a stream of energy and metal projectiles toward the captured alien technology. The shield flickered and died, unable to handle the combination of different attack types. "Excellent," Williams said with satisfaction. The aliens designed their shields to stop one type of attack at a time. They never considered that we might use both energy and projectiles simultaneously. At the same facility, Dr. Amy Brooks worked in a heavily secured laboratory. She had been studying alien biology for months, using samples recovered from the reconnaissance missions. Her task was to create a weapon that could target alien physiology without harming humans. "The alien immune system is incredibly advanced," she explained to her team. "But it's also very specialized. It can fight off diseases that would kill humans instantly, but it has no defense against certain Earth-based viruses." Her assistant Kevin looked concerned. "Dr. Brooks, are we really going to use biological weapons, even against aliens, it seems?" "Wrong?" Amy finished for him. "I've been asking myself the same question every day. But then I think about those children, locked in alien laboratories, being used as test subjects. The aliens started this war when they took our kids. We're just going to finish it." The biological weapon was controversial, even among the military leadership. Many officers felt that using disease as a weapon crossed a moral line that humanity should not cross. But others argued that when facing an enemy that kidnapped children, all options should be considered. Captain Ryan Martinez had been promoted to lead the Special Operations Division after Colonel Parker was injured in a training accident. His job was to train the soldiers who would infiltrate the alien facilities and rescue the children. The training was brutal, designed to prepare them for fighting in alien environments against superior technology. "Remember," Martinez told his team as they practiced in the mock alien base, "our goal is not to win a fair fight. Our goal is to get those children out alive. Use every dirty trick you know, cheat, lie, steal, whatever it takes." The aliens showed no mercy to our kids, so we show no mercy to them. The training facility was a perfect replica of the alien base, built using intelligence gathered from reconnaissance missions. The soldiers practiced room-to-room combat, learning to move through alien corridors and operate alien technology. They studied the enemy's weaknesses and planned for every possible scenario. Meanwhile, secret communications had been established with other alien species. 3 different civilizations had contacted Earth, warning humanity about the Valdris Empire. The messages were delivered through hidden channels, far from Valdris sensors. The first message came from the Keth Alliance, a group of species that had fought the Valdris for centuries. "Humans of Earth," the message read, "we have heard of your conflict with the Valdris Empire. We offer our support, but we must warn you, the Valdris military is vast and powerful. They control dozens of worlds and have weapons that can destroy entire planets." The second message came from the Zephyr Collective, a peaceful trading federation. "The Valdris have taken children from our worlds as well. We lack the military strength to fight them, but we can provide intelligence about their bases and ship movements." The third message was the most disturbing. It came from the remnant, the last survivors of a species that had been enslaved by the Valdris. Do not trust the Valdris to keep prisoners alive during a battle. When they realize they are losing, they will kill all captives rather than let them be rescued. Strike fast and strike hard, or your children will die. Admiral Grant read all three messages with growing concern. The alien warnings painted a picture of an enemy far more dangerous than humanity had imagined. The Valdris Empire spanned multiple star systems and had been conquering worlds for thousands of years. Earth was just their latest target. We're not just fighting for our children, Grant told the assembled fleet commanders. We're fighting for the survival of our species. If we lose this battle, the Valdris will come for all of us. They'll turn Earth into another slave world. The psychological pressure was enormous. Every person involved in the mission knew that they were Earth's only hope. If the Terran Liberation Fleet failed, humanity would face extinction or slavery. But if they succeeded, they would save not only their own children, but potentially free other species from Valdris oppression. Dr. Brooks made a breakthrough in her research that changed everything. While studying alien technology, she discovered that the Valdris had a fatal weakness in their communication systems. Their ships were connected through a network that allowed instant communication across vast distances. But this same network could be used to spread a virus through their entire fleet. If we can introduce a computer virus into their network, she explained to Admiral Grant, we can disable their entire fleet simultaneously. Their ships won't be able to communicate, coordinate, or even navigate properly. The cyber weapon was elegant in its simplicity. It would appear to be a normal communication signal, but once inside the Valdris network, it would spread like wildfire. The virus would not destroy their ships immediately, but it would make them vulnerable to human attack. As the final preparations were made, strange reports began coming in from the edge of the solar system. Human long-range sensors detected massive energy signatures moving toward Earth. The Valdris were mobilizing their forces, preparing for what they expected to be an easy victory over a primitive species. They're coming, Admiral Grant announced to the fleet. Long-range sensors show at least 50 Valdris ships entering our solar system. They probably think they can intimidate us into surrender. The timing was perfect. The Terran Liberation Fleet was ready, the weapons were tested, and the rescue plans were complete. More importantly, the Valdris had no idea what they were about to face. They expected to find a confused, divided species using primitive technology. Instead, they would encounter a unified humanity armed with hybrid weapons and driven by a fury they had never seen before. Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of his command ship, looking out at the assembled fleet. 347 vessels, each one crewed by volunteers who had signed up for what might be a suicide mission. They came from every nation on Earth, united by one common goal: bring the children home. Admiral, his communications officer reported, we're receiving a transmission from the Valdris fleet. They're demanding our surrender, Grant smiled grimly. Tell them we have a counteroffer. Release our children immediately and we might let some of them live. The final preparations were complete. Humanity had built the tools they needed, trained the soldiers who would use them, and united their entire species behind a single cause. The Valdris Empire was about to learn what happened when someone threatened human children. The march to war was about to begin. The signal came at dawn, Earth time. Admiral Lisa Grant stood on the bridge of her flagship, the Vengeance, watching as 347 human ships powered up their engines. The moment had finally arrived. Operation Righteous Fury was about to begin. All ships report ready for jump, her communications officer announced. The fleet is awaiting your orders, Admiral. Grant took a deep breath. In a few hours, humanity would either rescue their children or die trying. Send the message to all ships. Today we bring our children home, no matter what it costs. No matter what we have to do, they took our kids and now they pay the price. The human fleet disappeared in flashes of light as they jumped to faster-than-light speed. Their destination was the Valdris research facility that Colonel Parker had discovered months ago. Intelligence reports showed that most of the human children were being held at this single location. But Grant knew this was not going to be easy. The Valdris had turned the facility into a fortress, surrounded by defensive platforms and protected by dozens of warships. Getting the children out would require perfect timing and enormous sacrifice. Captain Ryan Martinez sat in his special operations ship, the Rescue One, checking his equipment one final time. His team of 30 soldiers had trained for this mission every day for 3 months. They knew the layout of the alien facility better than their own homes. They had practiced the rescue operation hundreds of times. "Remember the plan, Martinez?" told his team over the radio. "We go in fast and hard. The main fleet will keep the alien ships busy while we penetrate their defenses. Once we're inside, we have exactly 20 minutes to find the children and get them out." His weapons specialist, Sergeant Carol Stone, nodded grimly. "What if we run into heavy resistance inside the facility? Then we fight our way through." Martinez replied, "Those children have been prisoners for months. We're not leaving without them." On Earth, General Frank Williams coordinated the defense of the home system. While the main fleet attacked the alien facility, a large Valdris force was approaching Earth itself. The aliens planned to hold the human homeworld hostage, forcing humanity to surrender. "Sir," his aide reported, "enemy ships are entering the outer system. We count 67 vessels, including 3 massive battleships." Williams studied the tactical display. The alien ships were powerful, but they were spread out, probably expecting little resistance. They had no idea that Earth's defenses had been completely rebuilt over the past 3 months. "Activate the orbital defense platforms," Williams ordered, "and send the message to all Earth ships. Protect the homeworld. Show these aliens what happens when they threaten human families." Dr. Amy Brooks watched from the Lunar Research Station as the battle began. Her computer virus was ready to deploy, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. The virus would spread through the Valdris communication network, disabling their coordination and leaving them vulnerable. "Dr. Brooks," her assistant Kevin called. "Out. The fleet is engaging the enemy." "Should we release the virus now?" Amy shook her head. "Not yet. We need to wait until more of their ships are connected to the network. One chance is all we get." The first shots of the battle lit up space around the alien facility. Human ships poured out of jump space, immediately opening fire on the Valdris defenders. The alien ships responded quickly, but they were not prepared for the intensity of the human attack. Admiral Grant watched from her command chair as her ships engaged the enemy. The hybrid weapons worked exactly as promised, cutting through alien shields like they were made of paper. But the Valdris had powerful weapons too, and human ships began to explode under the alien counterattack. "Admiral," her tactical officer reported, "we've lost 12 ships, but we've destroyed 18 alien vessels. Our weapons are more effective than expected." "Good," Grant replied. "Continue the attack. Don't give them time to organize their defenses." Inside the alien facility, alarms screamed as the battle raged overhead. The Valdris guards looked nervous as explosions shook the building. They had never faced an enemy willing to attack their most heavily defended positions. Commander Zek, the Valdris officer in charge of the facility, received reports from his subordinates. "Sir, the human fleet is larger than our intelligence. Suggested they have weapons we've never seen before." Zek felt a moment of doubt. The humans were supposed to be primitive, barely capable of spaceflight. But the ships attacking his facility were advanced and well coordinated. "Prepare to execute the prisoners," he ordered. "If we cannot hold this facility, we will not let the humans reclaim their young." Captain Martinez and his team broke through the facility's outer defenses just as the alien commander gave his terrible order. Racing through corridors filled with strange alien technology, they followed the route they had memorized during training. "Contact!" Sergeant Stone called out as alien guards appeared ahead of them. "Multiple hostiles." The human soldiers opened fire with their hybrid weapons. The aliens had never seen such firepower in close combat. Their advanced armor was designed to stop energy weapons, But the human projectiles punched through like the armor was not even there. Martinez led his team deeper into the facility, following the energy signatures that indicated where the human children were being held. Behind them, the sound of battle grew louder as more human ships landed and deployed additional soldiers. In space above, Dr. Brooks saw her chance. The alien ships were fully engaged in battle, their communication networks operating at maximum capacity. "Release the virus," she ordered. The computer virus spread through the Valdris network in seconds. Alien ships suddenly found themselves unable to communicate with each other. Navigation systems failed. Weapon targeting became erratic. The coordinated alien defense fell apart as their technology turned against them. "Admiral," Grant pressed her advantage immediately. "All ships, concentrate fire on their command vessel. Without coordination, they can't fight effectively." The human fleet poured concentrated fire into the largest alien ship. Its shields, already weakened by the hybrid weapons, finally collapsed. The ship exploded in a ball of fire, taking the alien fleet commander with it. Back on Earth, General Williams watched as the alien attack on the homeworld also fell apart. Without their communication network, the Valdris ships found themselves fighting alone against coordinated Earth defenses. "Target their engines," Williams ordered. "Disable them. Don't destroy them. We want prisoners for interrogation." The orbital defense platforms opened fire with precision weapons. One by one, the alien ships found themselves stranded, their engines destroyed and their weapons offline. The few ships that tried to escape were hunted down by human fighters. Martinez finally reached the prison section of the alien facility. The corridors were filled with the sound of crying children and angry alien voices. Through the walls, he could hear human voices calling for help. "Emma, Bobby, Lucy," he shouted, recognizing the names from the missing children reports. "Can you hear me? We're here to take you home." A small voice answered from behind one of the doors. "Help us. Please. Help us." Stone used her cutting tool to burn through the alien door locks. Inside, they found dozens of human children, scared but alive. Many showed signs of medical experimentation, but they were all breathing. "We're soldiers from Earth," Martinez told the children gently. "Your parents sent us to bring you home." As his team began evacuating the children, Martinez received word that other rescue teams had found more prisoners throughout the facility. The operation was succeeding, but time was running out. Alien reinforcements were on their way. "All teams, prepare for immediate evacuation," Martinez ordered. "We have what we came for." The battle for the alien facility lasted 6 hours. When it was over, 193 human children were free. The cost had been high. 47 human ships destroyed and over 2,000 soldiers killed. But every child had been rescued alive. Admiral Grant stood on her damaged bridge, looking at the wreckage of the alien facility floating in space. "Send a message to Earth Command," she ordered. "Mission accomplished. All children recovered." But this is just the beginning. The rescue was complete, but Grant knew the war was far from over. The Valdris Empire was vast, with hundreds of worlds under their control. They would not accept this defeat quietly. Humanity had won the first battle, but the real war was about to begin. Captain Martinez held a small girl named Sarah, one of the rescued children, as their ship jumped back toward Earth. "Are we really going home?" Sarah asked quietly. Martinez smiled, even though his heart was heavy with the knowledge of what was coming. "Yes, sweetheart, we're going home. And nobody is ever going to take you away again." The march had begun. Earth had struck the first blow against the Valdris Empire. But both sides knew this was only the opening move in a conflict that would determine the future of multiple species across the galaxy. The message came 3 days after the children returned to Earth. Admiral Lisa Grant read it on the bridge of her flagship as the Terran Liberation fleet regrouped in Earth orbit. The transmission was from the Valdris Emperor himself, broadcast across all human communication channels. "Humans of Earth," the alien voice said through the translators, "you have made a grave mistake. The children you stole were valuable research subjects. We demand their immediate return along with compensation for our losses. Surrender now, and we will allow your species to serve the Empire as slaves. Refuse, and we will destroy your world." "And everyone on it?" Grant looked at the faces of her officers. Every person on the bridge had the same expression, cold anger mixed with determination. The aliens still did not understand what they had done when they took human children. "Send a reply," Grant ordered. "Tell the Emperor that we have a counteroffer. Surrender every ship, every weapon, and every world in your empire. Then maybe we will let some of your people live long enough to learn what it means to be human." The Emperor's response came within hours. A massive fleet appeared at the edge of the solar system. Long-range sensors counted over 300. Valdris warships, including vessels larger than anything humanity had ever seen. The alien fleet was 5 times the size of Earth's entire military. President Helen Davis stood before the United Nations one final time. Behind her, images showed the approaching alien armada. "My fellow humans," she said quietly, "we face a choice. We can surrender our children to monsters, or we can fight for everything that makes us human. The aliens think we will be afraid of their numbers. They are wrong." On Mars, Jake Morrison watched as supply ships loaded the last of the evacuation transports. Women, children, and elderly civilians were being moved to deep space stations far from the coming battle. Only military personnel and essential workers remained. "Commander," his aide reported, "the civilian evacuation is complete. Mars Colony 7 is now a military installation." Jake nodded, looking out at the red landscape where children had played just months ago. "Good. When this is over, we'll rebuild. But first, we finish what the aliens started." Dr. Amy Brooks worked frantically. In her laboratory on Luna, the biological weapon was ready, but she had discovered something even more devastating. The Valdris Empire used a central command system that controlled all their technology. If she could introduce her virus into that system, she could cripple their entire civilization. "Dr. Brooks," her assistant Kevin called urgently, "we're receiving data from the alien prisoners taken in the last battle. Their technology is even more integrated than we thought. Every ship, every weapon, every life support system is connected to their central network." Amy felt a chill run down her spine. "Kevin, if we deploy this weapon, it won't just disable their ships. It will shut down everything. Their worlds will lose power, life support, everything. Billions of aliens will die." Kevin was quiet for a moment. "Dr. Brooks, they took our children. They were going to turn them into slaves. How many human worlds would they have destroyed if we hadn't stopped them?" The ethical weight of the decision fell on Amy's shoulders. She could create a weapon. That would end the war instantly, but it would also commit genocide on a scale never before seen. Yet the alternative was watching humanity fight a hopeless battle. Against impossible odds, Captain Ryan Martinez led the final preparations for what everyone knew would be humanity's last battle. His rescued children were safe on Earth, but Martinez could not forget the fear in their eyes. The aliens had treated human children like laboratory animals, and for that, there would be no forgiveness. "All ships," Martinez announced over the fleet communication system, "remember why we're here. Remember what they did to our kids? No mercy, no prisoners, no survivors." The Valdris fleet approached Earth with confidence. "Emperor that commanded?" The invasion force personally, expecting to crush the primitive humans within hours. His ships were equipped with planet-killing weapons, capable of turning entire worlds into burning ruins. "Begin the bombardment," the Emperor ordered as his fleet entered Earth system. "Destroy their military installations first. Leave the population centers intact. We will need slaves to rebuild what we destroy." But the human fleet was not where the aliens expected to find it. Instead of defending Earth, Admiral Grant had taken her ships to the edge of the system, positioning them between the alien fleet and the outer planets. "Admiral," her tactical officer reported, "the alien fleet is moving past us toward Earth. They're ignoring our ships completely." Grant smiled grimly. "They think we're running away. Let them continue to Earth. Our orbital defense platforms will." Give them a surprise? The Valdris fleet reached Earth to find the planet surrounded by hundreds of weapon platforms, each one armed with the new hybrid technology. The platforms opened fire simultaneously, creating a wall of energy and projectiles, but no ship could penetrate. Impossible. Emperor Thek roared as his lead ships exploded under the concentrated fire. How did these primitives develop such weapons? Behind the alien fleet, Admiral Grant's ships emerged from hiding and attacked from the rear. The Valdris found themselves trapped between the orbital defenses and the human fleet. Their superior numbers meant nothing when they could not maneuver. Dr. Brooks made her decision. She activated the biological weapon, broadcasting it through captured alien communication equipment. The virus spread through the Valdris network like wildfire, reaching their homeworlds within minutes. On Valdris Prime, the capital world of the Empire, every piece of technology began to fail simultaneously. Life support systems shut down in underground cities, power plants went offline. Ships fell from the sky as their engines died. Within hours, a civilization that had existed for thousands of years began to collapse. The effects reached the Valdris fleet at Earth almost immediately. Ship after ship lost power as the virus infected their systems, weapons went silent. Shields collapsed. The mighty alien armada found itself helpless, drifting in space like abandoned hulks. Emperor Thek watched from his command ship as his empire died around him. Emergency reports flooded in from across Valdris space. Every world, every station, every ship was going dark. The humans had not just defeated his fleet. They had destroyed his entire civilization. Send a surrender message, the Emperor ordered desperately. Tell them we will give them anything they want. Territory, resources, technology. Just make them stop this destruction. Admiral Grant received the surrender offer on her flagship. Around her, human ships continued to fire on the disabled alien vessels, destroying them one by one. The battle was no longer about victory. It was about making sure the Valdris could never threaten human children again. Reject their surrender? Grant ordered. Continue firing until every alien ship is destroyed. Captain Martinez led the boarding parties that searched the disabled alien vessels. His teams moved through the ships systematically, looking for any humans who might still be prisoners. They found none, but they discovered something else. Admiral, Martinez reported over the radio, we found the aliens' research data. They weren't just experimenting on our children. They have records of similar experiments on dozens of other species. This has been going on for centuries. The discovery hardened human resolve even further. The Valdris had been kidnapping and experimenting on children from across the galaxy for generations. Humanity was not their first victim, but they would be their last. General Frank Williams coordinated the final phase of the operation from Earth Command. Human ships spread out across the Valdris Empire, visiting every world that had fallen silent. Some planets had survivors, alien civilians who had managed to find shelter when their technology failed. Others were completely dead, their populations unable to survive without their advanced life support systems. Sir, his aide reported, casualty estimates are coming in from across Valdris space. Initial reports suggest over 90% population loss on most worlds. The Empire is effectively extinct. Williams felt no satisfaction in the numbers. The scale of destruction was almost beyond comprehension. But when he thought about the human children who had suffered in alien laboratories, he felt no regret either. The war ended as suddenly as it had begun. Within a week, the Valdris Empire ceased to exist. Their fleet was destroyed, their worlds were silent, and their technology lay in ruins. Humanity had achieved total victory, but the cost in alien lives was staggering. Admiral Grant stood on the observation deck of the Luna station, looking out at Earth. The planet was safe. The children were home, and humanity had emerged as the dominant military power in the local galaxy. But the victory felt hollow. Was it worth it? Her aide asked quietly. Grant thought about Emma, Bobby, Lucy, and all the other children who had been rescued. She thought about the alien research data that showed centuries of similar atrocities committed against other species. Ask me again in 100 years, she said finally, when we know what kind of galaxy we've created. The message was sent to every species in the known galaxy. It was simple and direct. This is humanity. We are not conquerors, but we are protectors. Our children are not to be touched. Our families are not to be threatened. Cross this line and there will be no mercy, no negotiation, and no survivors.